We're going to look at practice at exercise 14.3 copyStack, and this is pretty simple, kind of similar to the last one we went over. It's in the playlist, link below the like button if you missed it. We're going to write a method called copyStack. It's going to be a public copyStack. It's going to take a stack of integers as parameter, and it's going to return a copy of the original stack, but not the actual stack itself. We actually have to make a new stack. This stack is going to be what we're returning. So the return type is stack, and we have a little bit more information about it down here, and we can use a queue as an auxiliary storage. We're going to work with a new stack because we have to create a new stack. That's what we're going to be returning. We'll do integer. We'll call it S2 for the second stack. It's going to be a new stack, type integer. And from here, if I can spell it correctly, there we go. We are going to also want to make a queue. So from here, it's going to be queue integer, call it queue is equal to a new linked list, type integer, and it's good. We have set up our storages. So from here, let's say that we have a string, or not a string, a series of values in our S right here. Well, we're going to want to first add them to our queue. When we add things from the stack to the queue, we have to pop it off. So we're going to add from the last to the first. So the last elements in here are going to be the first ones in here. And then if we just put it into this, it's going to be backwards. So let's go over this. We're going to do while our S, so our first stack, is not empty. So we'll have is empty here. While is not empty, we're going to want to add into our queue. So queue.add, and we're just going to do s.pop to pop all the values out of our stack. Now, from here, if we do this, all of our values are going to be backwards, right? They're backwards. So to fix this, what we need to do is add it to our S2, so the stack. So we'll have this while loop right here. Very similar, we're just going to change a few things. We're going to empty out our queue into our S2. We're going to empty it back into our S2. We could also do S since it's empty now, but let's just do S2 for now. So while our queue is not empty, we're going to add into our S2. Actually, we have to change this inside of here. We're going to do S2.push. And then inside of here, we're going to do a queue.remove. So this is going to remove the values from our queue, put them in our S2 stack, but again, it is backwards. Since it is backwards, we're going to have to push it back to our queue. So let's go in here, pushing it back to our queue, change this to S2 because we're moving from our S2 from here. Now we have our values back in our queue. It's in the correct order. So we just want to remove it from our queue and put it back into our S2. But we also have to retain the original S list. So not only are we going to push into our S2, we're going to have to push into our S. So for that, I'm going to do s.push. Instead of q.remove, I'm going to do q.peek. That way we can look at the first value without removing it yet. We're then going to return a S2. And that's pretty much it. We can close off this function and press submit. If you have any questions, you can always take this code, put it in an IDE, use a debug and step through it and see how it works. But that'll pass 5 out of 5 tests, and that's how we'd go about looking at copyStack's exercise 14.3.